Hello everyone, my name is Alicia Jackson and I am a licensed professional counselor. This week's video is about how long is the grief process? How long is the grief process and what does it feel like along the way? So hopefully this video will give you some clarity of what that feels like. And I have kind of like a cool kind of tool and visual description of what that is for you guys to get some clarity about that. You might have had or experienced a loss yourself, or have a loved one who's experienced a loss, and I'm wondering, like, okay, how long is this period going to last for them? How to support them, all of that stuff. Well, hopefully this video will give you what you need. So grief, I know we tend to think about grief strictly in death of a loved one, but grief can look like you can grieve a lot of things. You can grieve an experience, you can grieve a period of your life, you could grieve a relationship. There are so many different things to grieve, and I'm glad that our field, the mental health field, is still learning and giving more information, more tools, and talking more about grief, because it's still pretty new. Sad to say, but it's still pretty new. So I have a blank board, and we're going to do like just a little kind of diagram about what grief can look like and feel like long term. So we're going to talk about this in the space of loss of a loved one or a relationship. And here, so I don't know if you see, here is a ball, and the ball is representing grief, okay, or the loss, the pain of the relationship or loved one. And this box is life, okay. So when it happens, it's still pretty fresh, okay, and there are things that can happen where that ball could hit these edges here, right here. You see how, because it's such a big ball, it can hit these edges and be triggered, and it will cause people to have like a grief response. This little wiggle line, we're gonna get rid of that. Boom, there we go. So it can cause people to have a grief response because of that, when that death is, or the loss is very fresh. Okay, whether it's a song, a smell, a memory, driving down a certain road, all of that can cause those little kind of friction moments to happen when it hits these points, where it hits these points right here, and then it's like, and there's a grief response. And the grief response can look like a number of things. It can look like just someone being tearful, someone being upset, angry, someone having a panic attack. It could look, depending on said trigger, it could look a number of ways. So how grief happens over time is, all right, so you see that we have like same similar circle here, but the box grows, okay. So the box grows. So the pain is still, the grief is here. It's still, you know, very similar in size. Some people think or feel that the ball gets smaller. I don't necessarily agree with that. I believed that the ball kind of still remains the same size, but your life grows and expands. And so as life grows and expands, then those trigger moments here happen less, okay. So they still happen. The loss of your loved one or the loss of the relationship is still there, but it happens, those trigger moments happen less. They don't happen as often as they did when the loss happened, you know, at that time, okay. And so how grief and the goal of grief work is to help to find some acceptance of the loss, help to find some acceptance of the loss and peace of the loss, so that these trigger moments when they do happen, you have them, you welcome them, and at the same time have peace with the loss. And that's definitely a challenge. It truly is. It takes a lot of work to do that in therapy or in your personal walk. Whether, you know, some people, I want to be under the assumption that everybody is fully of support of therapy, but that is hopefully my goal, that you guys will be open to that, so that you can find acceptance and find more peace on your journey as through your grief journey. It is a journey. So the question is, how long does grief last? How long is this process? The grief is with you. The grief is with you, and you find different ways to process that and gain acceptance. And the acceptance happens at levels. You will get one level of acceptance, and then you'll find that you get even another level of acceptance as time continues to go on. It's truly a process, but it's beautiful work, and we welcome grief, because grief represents the love that you have for someone, or the appreciation or gratefulness of an experience or relationship that you had and you cherished. And that's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing. So we welcome grief, and we welcome those experiences, because they are a part of what makes up this thing called life. Relationships, experiences, there's what brings the meaning to life, right? So we welcome the grief, and we recognize it as good grief. And I hope this has brought some clarity for you. Of course, if you have questions, feel free to comment below. Of course, like this video, share this video with those who you feel would benefit from it. And of course, if you have not, subscribe to my channel. I have more good stuff coming for you guys, I promise. And thank you so much for watching.